Why are you guys making me do this at 3:30 in the afternoon?
It's so late. Gosh, the sun's already down. And, oh wait, no, it's not.
Oh, mine will be down in a half an hour or about, well, 1 hour. I guess it goes down at 4:30. It's getting longer.
Well,
Dave's
you
getting
mentioned it at 8 this morning, so I just kind of called and held you to it.
Yeah, but 8 this morning is a whole lot different thing. Anyway, Happy New Year, everyone. We have Icarus, we have Spooky, and we have, who else do we have?
Pragmatic Crystals.
Pragmatic Crystal's been here forever. Spooky scared the shit out of me again with his ghost fucking presence.
Yeah, I'm having to take some pills to calm down from that.
I know.
It's horrible. So scared.
Yep. So what do we got here? Let's see if I can start my camera. Oh, comments. So we have comments that we're going to go over on some of these Bernardo Kastrup videos. And I love this first one. It says, "Oh my God, you guys clearly have no idea what you're talking about. What the fuck is mentals?" Bernardo says the world is mental, meaning the world is in consciousness. It's an appearance, an illusion. That's from Cyro 3204. Well,
I know he says it's all consciousness, but him saying it's an appearance or an illusion, I thought he meant that the actual reality is consciousness. Am I not picking up on that?
Yeah, and I call them mentals, and this person is offended that I'm calling them mentals. Well, I think very differently. I understand what a hallucination is, and I know the difference between a hallucination and when I'm actually perceiving something. And idealists don't. They think everything is a hallucination of some sort. But and they have very sophisticated ways of putting that, but I think it amounts to diddly squat. Nothing. Okay. Saying that there is a physical world because you can obviously see it doesn't prove anything. Organisms, humans, didn't evolve to see the world as it really is. They evolved to survive and reproduce. Well, how do you know that?
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask as well.
Yeah, this is from, what's his name? Hoffman. Donald Hoffman. This is his idea. Okay. Evolution doesn't care about what's true or not, only what survival and reproduction. We obviously don't see the world as it really is, obviously. How do you know that? Even physicists are now saying that space-time isn't fundamental, obviously. That means space-time and also physical objects aren't the ultimate truth, they're illusions. Atheists and materialists are quick to ask for proof of supernatural claims, yet they can't prove that there exists a physical world independent of consciousness. It's a belief. There we go, boys and girls.
Well, that's kind of brain in the vat, isn't it? That even if we are a brain in the vat, there's nothing we can do about it. If
it just follow the solipsism.
Yeah, if there's rules set in place, then we have to follow them. It doesn't matter if we're in a vat or not, right?
Right. It's still reality with a lowercase r, basically. Right. And just because, like, okay, if I have a concrete wall in front of me, we know from physics that concrete wall is mostly space, right? And there are some electrons and some nucleus. Atoms and the nuclei of atoms, right? And it's mostly empty space. But I am not a fucking neutrino. Right. Okay, I'm not. I consist of the same forces and fields, and I cannot run through the brick wall because I am not a fucking neutrino.
And a neutrino isn't magic. It's still following the laws of physics and everything. It's just small enough or doesn't have the attraction, whatever it is, that allows it to pass right through.
Yeah, and how do we know that the part of the world we do see. I agree, we don't see everything as it really is because there are frequencies we don't pick up. There are sounds that we cannot hear or see. There may be colors that, if we had the right kind of eyeball, we'd be able to see it just great, but we don't. But what about the parts that we can detect and know about? Why say that it's not the world as it really is? Because if it's an illusion, who the hell dreams up an illusion of getting a black eye when you run into a door, or stubbing your toe and getting a big red bloody scar because you want things to go? And that's not, or those kinds of things, illusions. I just
losing you a little bit, Scott.
Yeah, we're losing you a little bit, Scott.
and what
We're losing you a little bit.
I don't know why.
I don't
Everything
know.
seems okay, but still, what all did you hear me say just now?
The last sentence kind of was pretty quiet.
Yeah, the last sentence you could repeat. That would be good.
Well, I was just saying, why would we think that those things are illusions? We're not that smart and we're not all, like Stephen King or some really clever science fiction artist who can say, oh, we're going to make up pain and illusion. We're going to make up pain and stubbed toes and black eyes to make illusion seem real.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that evolution has is it doesn't give a shit. And so you run up against reality and you have reactions to it. Not always good.
That's what we were trying to figure out, because he seems to say that there's something out there that instructs everything, but at the same time, if we think up something, it becomes real too and enters into that matrix that the divine programmer is already determined. So you have determinism until we have a thought, and then it screws up the determinism. That's what is kind of confusing on what his point is exactly.
Spooky is asking if you use a tin can as a microphone, Scott.
I'm drinking from a metallic thermos cup kind of thing, but no, it just may be that
it sounded like you moved.
That my computer may be experiencing all sorts of degrading or whatever. I may have to break out my new one.
Reality is a
hallucination of God.
I think Top G is being facetious. Anyway.
Shouldn't that be dog?
Oh, is that Top Dog? I don't know.
No, I mean, instead of God, it should be dog.
Dog, it should be. Anyway, so here we are. We're organisms, right? And here are whatever the world is, the noumena, Kant's noumena, the world as it is in itself. Okay, but the world as it is in itself really has no properties or any sort of a look or feel to it unless we have an organism that gives it its feel. So that is a deeper version of idealism. I think it's transcendental idealism or whatever. That basically what we are is we have these particular sensory apparati that basically take the world as it is in itself, and it gives us basically information about it. Well, humans are a little bit different though. We have these minds where we can accumulate knowledge, document knowledge, draw diagrams, and we can figure things out. And what we figure out is there is a space-time look to the world. And now the world may well be a hologram projected from inside of a cylinder, some other dimensional cylinder, and that space-time is not fundamental. But nevertheless, we are the kind of an organism with our sensory apparatus that are going to perceive space fucking time. That's one look at it. If we were, suppose stars were actually intelligent organisms of some kind, right? Stars
they aren't.
Which they aren't, right? We know they aren't. But okay, if there was some weird ass kind of organism, or what it's like to be a bat, or what it's like to be a frog, what it's like to be a cricket, right? Whatever you are as an organism, you're going to take what I call a perspectival slice of the world. You're going to see a piece of it from your perspective. So we have perspectival slice. So you're going to see it, and it's kind
You
of like
maybe mean perspectival.
perspectival, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, did I forget the T? Thank you, Scott, for correcting me. I always called it perspectival, but perspectival slice. So basically, that is what you are as an organism, taken together with what is actually out there, and coming up with this perspectival slice. And from that, and humans have been able to go a lot further than that. And we've been able to double check all of this information in trillions of different ways, through experimentation, through predictions, through whatever. And we keep coming up the same thing. Whatever we are, basically, let me get my right thing. Whatever we are in combination with whatever the universe is, we end up with this particular look at the universe, and it is as real as it needs to be. It's true enough, basically. It's true enough. So that is my physicalism. And that is naive realism, yes. You start with naive real. I will defend naive realism, because when it comes down to it, we have a pretty good picture of what goes on in the world. As you know, every time you get up and open the refrigerator and stuff something in your mouth, basically you verify physical reality as given. So there you go.
Yeah, is the idea of naive realism considered an insult, or
Yeah.
are people, because it's actually to me a good term, because there's so much stuff we don't have privy to. Have a
Oh,
You're gone, Scott.
you're gone.
but I'm
Roboting.
here.
That last sentence just didn't come out right.
It said bing bong, bing bing bong.
Bing, bong, bing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead and say that last sentence
They
really
just
fast.
go out. But what I was saying, basically, even our philosophical structures are incomplete, because there are ideas concerning reality that nobody's thought up yet. So it can only be a naive realism, because there's so much incompleteness.
Yeah, that actually makes more sense than a lot of these other things, because yeah, that's again using an apologist argument. You don't know everything, so you can't know anything. And it's like, no,
Okay,
you can have all these little slices, and
Yeah,
even if you know very little, those
Yeah.
few slices are still something that is known.
yeah, it's reality with a lowercase r. We're not saying perceptible. We're saying perceptive, perceptival, which I think Scott has the right pronunciation.
Actually, what I'm saying is as in perspective, perspectival.
Perspectival, yeah,
But
not
if you mean the ability to perceive something, that would be a different word. Yes.
yeah, different word, right? Perspectival. I think I spelt it right on my little thing, but I
Okay.
kind of fucked it up.
I kind of like the naive realism.
Yep.
Pretty,
Okay.
that's pretty accurate in a way.
So the next comment is from Chikiki. This is pretty hard to listen to. His arguments are pretty underbaked, is what we said. If so, why not attempt to answer at least one of them? Well, because we couldn't find one that we could, like when you open the oven and you get the cookies and you try to pick up the chocolate chip cookie and it just falls apart. That's kind of what our problem is with Bernardo Kastrup. But we are going to go over his paper in our next installment, part 5, of why Bernardo Kastrup is baloney. And we're going to look carefully.
Except that it's not chocolate chip. It's rat chips, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You can't put you can't put the blame all on us either, because we're really trying.
Yeah.
I mean, I watch, I listen, I back it up, I listen again, and if there's a lot of confusion, yeah, that's at least half his fault.
Yeah. Well, and he keeps referring, physicalism is false. Everybody knows physicalism is false. I'm going to explain it in chapter 7. And then you get to chapter 7, and then he's going to explain it in chapter 9. And anyway, but I did go through and I tried to find his best arguments against physicalism. We'll go over that. So then we have Simon XI8TB, so that is 11.8 table. We know that NDEs don't exist, he says. So everyone that had such an experience is lying? Is that what you were saying? Yep.
No,
Well, no, not lying, but deluded.
they exist. It's just how you interpret them.
Yeah. Is that what you were saying? Experience is experience, be it in your real world, with quotes around real, or in the dreams or before death. I think your rebuttal of BK idealism is very weak. I agree. We got to try harder. Try harder, please, because I do want to hear a good counter to his views. Yes, we're going to do that. We're working on it. We're just not good at it. Okay? Sorry. Okay.
And
Then
NDEs are like a lot of other experiences. I do not doubt that people have experiences.
Yeah.
The
Yeah, a lot of
experience
people
is
are
real.
sincere and genuine. It's just that the experience that they're having cannot be shown to be what they think it is.
So every few days, I wake up from a dead sleep and I remember a dream. And I start thinking about the dream. But I have absolutely zero evidence that the dream that I am now narrating and telling you about is the dream that I actually had. Because I was unconscious during that experience and not recording anything. So I have absolutely no proof that I did not make the whole fucking thing up when I woke up.
Yeah, I have to remember my dreams right after I wake up. If
Yeah.
I get up and I start brushing my teeth or taking care of the dogs, which I always take care of the dogs as soon as I get up, so I forget the dreams I've had, except for the ones that really stick in my brain, and
Yeah.
those are usually kind of sad dreams and things like that I don't want to remember.
Some neuroscientists will tell you that you have about 10 seconds after you come out of a dream, you wake up, you have about 10 seconds to start to put together a narrative about what your dream was. And that's all you're getting is a fucking narrative. Because your brain could have been completely scrambled and had a whole bunch of little pieces and fragments lying around in it, which I think there are very good neuroscientific reasons to believe that's what a dream is, that it's nothing like a narrative, nothing like a story, until you wake up. And in that first 10 seconds, you start putting meat on that story. You pick up all those little fragments and you put together a narrative. So I am not convinced that we actually have dreams, which makes me a pretty rare person in the world. But
I think sleep is a defrag.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's
a good analogy with a defrag, and why you have to have sleep, because the brain needs that time to organize everything, or you'll be like a computer that hasn't been defragged. You'll be thinking too long about things. Maybe your reactions and everything could be all thrown off because you're scrambled.
Yeah.
Because like you say, because the brain doesn't keep every detail, it has to piece things together. And if it doesn't understand one piece from another, then it's all nonsense.
Yeah, Doorknob head is spot on here. Nightmares are far more well remembered than just, plain old humdrum dreams, because of the emotions involved, because you actually hit some fear elements while you're sleeping.
Yeah,
and you wake up and then you remember it. And it's like,
you can sit up and gasp, whoa,
Yeah.
all sweaty and everything.
Yeah. But there may well be a narrative or some narrative form to dreams, and but the thing is that we have no proof. I have no way of knowing until you start coming up with more detailed brain scans. Anyway, then let's see the other comment. Instinctive non-reactionary has been making comments, and I had one email with two comments. The second one said that he deletes them right after he makes them, but they end up in my email, in my public comments. They were public for 30 seconds, right? So I don't give a shit if you comment on my videos. I am going to capture them and I'm going to share them publicly. If you want to communicate with me privately by email, I will not make those public. But we'll get into instinctive non-reactionaries comments later. So anyway, let's see. It took me 10 years to truly understand these concepts, Astrolox. So that's another one.
You got time.
Yeah, what the hell?
You got time.
Understanding idealism requires you to believe that what your subjective experience is somehow ontologically real and solid. And I don't happen to believe that. So I don't think like idealists. So I will talk about things like mentacles and whatever, and I'll make fun of it because I think differently than you. I think in terms of physicality. Now, I could try and think in terms of idealism, but it just turns into a fucking mess of goo. Because what the fuck can I tack it on to? Nothing. Spooky dreamt our stream. Let's see. Here we go. It's more like a hotspot of continuous image feelings while dreaming. Yep, I think so.
That's what's confusing, because sometimes Bernardo seems to be saying that, yes, what Spooky's dreaming is what I'm dreaming. Because it's putting back out into the determinism, which is something that I'm still confused about, is how can it be determined, but then our thoughts affect the determinism. That's very confusing, because when he was talking about the UFOs and maybe the NDEs and stuff in that one video, that's where he was. What I got from it was, if you think it, then it is. The reason you see a UFO is because you think it, and there it is. But then I don't understand how it's determined from a universal consciousness or a mind or a programmer who's in charge of the matrix. Because if they're determining it, then why are my thoughts changing the big R or the little R reality?
Yeah, and I've been out on the wide open road in the flat eastern part of Arkansas before at night, and driving along thinking about UFOs, because I used to love to read UFO stories and magazines all the time when I was a kid. That didn't create any UFOs. So what's he talking about? What is this process of thinking about things and thinking them into existence or into reality?
Yeah, so Top G wants me to look up acosmism. So here it is from the Wikipedia, the free encyclopedia, which I donate to every month, as everybody should. Held in contrast to equivalent to pantheism, denies the reality of the universe, seeing it as ultimately illusory, in whatever, blah, blah, blah. Unmanifest, absolute is real. Conceptual versions of acosmism are found in Eastern and Western philosophies. The concept of Maya, meaning that we're dreaming at being an individual in the universe, and I don't know, the Vedanta school of Hinduism is a form of acosmos. So Maya means illusion or appearance. And my belief about that and my Buddhism holds that the illusion of you being a real important self, like a thing, right, that is constant throughout your life, that to me is Maya. That's the universe pretending it's Mike. And I do prescribe to that, so I'm kind of with him on that. Let's see what else we got. In Western philosophy, we have Parmenides, Plato, Spinoza, Kant, Hegel, whatever. I don't think all those guys are idealists, especially Spinoza. I don't believe. I don't know. Anyway, let's see what else we have here, and that's about.
Spinoza is a cool name. I always like that name. That's
Spinoza, yeah.
That's a great name.
Sounds cosmic, doesn't it? Anyway, okay. It took me 10 years to truly understand concepts. We have that. What a terrible straw man. Okay, so let's think about it. Okay, everything's an illusion. Everything inside of our mind is real. Our minds are real, but everything outside of us is just an illusion, and what we perceive is an illusion. Well, then you got to ask why what Scott, Dave, and I perceive together when we're in the same room looking at a bottle of milk from different sides, you got to wonder why it's there. Well, Bernardo Kastrup says that there is an ultimate mind, a God mind, a bigger mind that keeps track of where the milk bottle is. So the big mind is he has a perception of the milk bottle, and we have each have our own little slice of that perception. But that also means that the big mind sees the milk bottle from an infinite number of perspectives all at once. And the ultimate mind sees the world as it truly is. Well, what the fuck does that mean? If the
Well, and
ultimate
also,
mind,
why aren't there multiple levels of bigger minds
I know that's the
seeing
other
things
thing.
for us?
Why
As
and
in,
why
say,
doesn't and
Gnosticism.
why doesn't it work both ways? Why can't I see Mike's bottle of milk at his house?
Well, he talks about dissociative personality disorder, where basically the brain is a filter that the big mind imagines. The big mind imagines your brain, and that brain gives you a little slice of big mind, which is not a fucking straw man. This is actually what Kastrup is trying to tell us. But I would love Kastrup to come on and explain it to us better than I just did, because
The
that's the
big
best.
mind is only giving us a teaser. Is that what it is?
Yeah, a little one perspective, according to what
Like a movie trailer, and you go in thinking you know exactly what the movie's going to be, but then you don't because the
Yeah,
trailer was just
yeah.
not what
I
the
hate,
movie's really
I
about.
hate when good comedy movie trailers that are hilarious end up being the only funny parts in the movie. They're all in the trailer. What is that called? We should have a name for that phenomena. Anyway,
That's
But that,
called
yeah,
selling tickets.
yeah,
uh,
that's that confusing part is we're supposedly getting this information, but we're not really getting enough, right?
Spooky's trying to give me some new ideas for a handle. I'm thinking about it, Spooky.
So this Panda Wanda's comment, what a terrible straw man is. If you expand the 4 replies, will we get anything helpful about the straw man that we're being accused of?
Oh shit. Okay, wait a minute. So we have a reply. And what is your current understanding? Okay, that's one of them. So here we go. What a terrible straw man. Okay, explain. Answers in atheism. Okay, I responded, but he never responded back.
And
So
then, well, what's this? Well, yeah, it is, but we're doing okay. Okay, I see what you mean. You're saying, okay, well, yeah, it is a terrible straw man, but we're being
making fun and using
yeah.
rhetoric to highlight some of the more ridiculous implications of his idealism.
So you took the time to respond
Responded
to
four
his
times,
comment and got no.
got
Okay, well,
nothing.
what can you do with that? That's not a useful thing
Right.
to hear about.
Ooh, instinctive non-reactionary. Okay. We'll get to his comments later because I think I have hot air. Do I have hot air? Let me see. Where's hot air? Uh, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll get to those later. I was helping him out. Anyway, so I tried to put out, let's see. First, mentacles. Kastrup sets up this ridiculous dichotomy of mental and physical, which I don't agree with, and then concludes for mental. He deserves that little prickle of fun poking. And then we have, what's his name? That's a pretty long comment. We'll see if I have that one. We'll get to him later. And then Mandible, I never liked BK's definition of solipsism. I would say that solipsism is rejection of the idea of an external world. Thumbnails of Scott Duke posted. Hey, Scott Duke posted.
Yeah, he's one of the naive realists.
Yeah. That is why you philosophize. Trying to find flaws in your own thinking. Yep.
Right.
That's why Mandible's our buddy who's also a fucking dualist for some reason. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with him, but anyway. One reply. Something else appropriate. One reply.
James Ampersand is in our side chat.
Well, hi, James. I sent him a link. I don't know if the link works. Okay, here we have another one. This is part 2.
Your links don't work.
Did my link not work, James? Yeah, we kind of fucked it up. I don't know. All I did was change the time on Restring, and it just threw everything into a tizzy. Okay, meh. It could have been interesting, but it's slacky. That's what Alex Rain 888 says. And I said, we certainly are slackers. Mostly we are busy reading and not so busy producing clean content. We're trying to be better, and we are. Now you could, meanwhile, look at the Carhart-Harris 2014 paper that Bernardo relies upon to support his brain function decrease on psychedelic states, which is what I went after in part 2. Blah, blah, blah. And then I say some more stuff. I guess I said a lot of stuff. And I said, look at figure 7. And then he said, man, it's like shaking your fist when the fight is over. It was necessary to list all Bernard's best and fresh arguments in the beginning of the video, one by one, without pauses for a ha, ha, and give the most sparkling, ironic, and best answers to them after that. If you are arguing with such an eternal enemy of materialism as idealism, perhaps you should give a little perspective at the beginning for 10 minutes for the audience. Again, not a straw man, and this is not done in the comments when the video has already been released. If you want to look good and smart, just do better. So, what did I tell you guys? We're going to try to do better because of this dude, Alex Rain. And he's correct. We're shit at this. We know it, right? Okay.
And I'm real terrible because I am new to the whole thing, so I'm learning as I go. But
yeah. And then
I do try to listen very carefully and try to understand.
And then I caught this myself because this is my comment. I said inside of this video, I don't believe I have anything going on inside my head. I actually said that out loud. That's great. I just wanted to say that's a pretty good Fonzie impersonation in the title. Hey, James.
Hey there, guys.
Hi, James.
How you? See, my links work.
Yeah, so I got the second link. It worked. The better one.
The better one. Yes, the other one didn't work. See?
Yeah. Okay, it's a better one because I'm trying to do better. You see what I'm doing, guys?
Exactly.
Oh, gee, I should have given you the credit.
Yeah,
Build back better.
You did improve.
Yep.
Until you tried again. We won't talk about that one.
So this is part 3. Oh, this is painful. I'm glad someone is tackling. This is from Critical Base Theory. We all know Critical Base Theory and love his channel.
Grayson.
Grace. I'm glad someone is tackling Bernardo Kastrup. I've never understood what his problem is with physicalism. Every time he talks, he just makes no sense to me. And that's a fucking problem with him. It's really hard to.
There you go.
Well, it's because we're so naive and he's so intelligent and we're not. We can't get our mind around his beautiful idea.
Well, Grayson's got a very smart noggin on him there.
Yep.
So if it's not making any sense to him either, then I don't feel so bad.
Yeah.
Grayson's very smart on numerous topics.
Yeah, he's one of those people in the network of interconnected personalities where you can pretty much measure where you're at by where they're at, right? If they're saying something's bullshit and you think it's bullshit, you're probably right.
Anyway, so I responded a bit to Critical Base Theory, and I don't know. Another so-called argument is that physicalism knows nothing about consciousness. We spent a whole video, I think in part 4, talking about that. And then I mentioned Matt McCormick's philosophy playlist, which we
philosophy of mind. Yeah.
Yep. And I made it through all 34 videos. That was a really good philosophy of mind quarter. I think it was a whole quarter that he did those videos for.
Yeah, there's some dry spots to it, but I think that's just because of the nature of the subject. But
Yeah.
but yeah, it's a really good lecture series.
And we have Top Dog Shattuck. The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself. Carl Sagan. He has a quote.
So that sounds like what do you call it? Pandeism. So God is the universe, and it's trying to learn the nature of its own existence through what it creates.
Well, you shouldn't have said trying. It is learning. Okay, it's not trying to do anything.
Or so have we become theists? Every answer is in theism now.
Yeah. Well, okay, if you take trying out of that equation, then it makes sense, James.
Right.
Because we happen to be little spots of goo that are able to reflect on what's going on inside of ourselves and around ourselves, and we can reflect away.
Sure.
We are very interesting little spots of goo.
We are.
If you want to know about the black goo, you want to tune into Hive Side because Bree often covers the black goo.
Really? There's black goo?
There's black goo. I'm sure if you hit a keyword on one of her videos, you'll find black goo.
I will check that out. Okay, so part 4. And we have, let's see. Now, Tao, the Eternal Shameless Beyond 8778. Holy fuck, dude.
Hey,
Like-
Leo wants a
Leo
link.
wants a link. Yeah.
Leo wants a link. Where's, oh, God. Well, you got his email, Scott?
Oh, no, I don't.
You don't.
I thought you had his email.
I don't.
Let me
How
check.
did I ask Leo that question for me the other week if you don't have his email?
Well, I have his email.
I sent him a DM.
Gotcha.
I have his email. I just don't want to take the time to fucking mail him a link. So
Leo's on Facebook. I got him on Facebook.
Wait a minute, I got it. I got one.
well, throw it on. Yeah, we can throw it
I'm
on.
throwing it out there. Don't worry.
Yeah, having Leo here adds an extra layer of respectability
Oh yeah.
for us. So.
Bring
Okay.
in the brains.
Then I instinctive non-reactionary has commented on all these videos, and I tried to reach out to him again, and then I finally realized that he had made another comment saying that he deletes them all. But here we go. Okay, CJ, the last 2 comments that we have here. CJ CD5CD. Also, is the information between you and the world a direct isomorphic relationship? If so, what's the function of the brain if not an interpreter of the world, and that which forms a representation of the world? Well, I have railed against the idea of representations. That isn't what's happening. That isn't what brains do. Let's see. So, is it an isomorphic relationship? Certainly not, because I don't experience atoms as electrons whirling around nuclei. I don't experience neutrinos. I don't experience a lot of the spectrum. So no, it's not isomorphic. It is loosely isomorphic in certain areas, and I believe that we do perceive, from the kind of organism we are, the right perspective on the universe, and it is realism with a lowercase r. I don't know if that makes sense. Let's see, I'm only 20 minutes in. So perhaps you get to this later, but it seems you are suggesting there's a world of color, sounds, touch that is independent of an observing, perceiving subject. In other words, that these qualities exist, but they're in the world independent of consciousness. How do you know? So that's where I think I gave them 4 replies. Oh, okay. So
BS commented there for you. If
What's
Leo
that?
Phyllis, BS says if Leo Phyllis and Bernardo had a love child, it would be Leonardo.
Hey, Leo.
Hi, Leo.
What's up there, my cornfield friend?
Nothing, just hanging out.
Hanging out in the cornfield?
No, there are no cornfields right now because there's no corn. It's January.
Oh, you're right. You have snowfields and windmills.
Actually, we have like no snow. I've had very little snow.
Yeah, here neither. It all
Oh.
we had an eighth of an inch the other day, and then it melted yesterday. So
Mm-hmm.
she
Had
gone.
a couple flurries. That's all we've had all season.
Yeah. So anyway, are you familiar with Kastrup at all and his idea? Have
Yes.
you ever? Okay. What do you think of his universal mind thinking and his idea that the brain is a filter?
Well, I don't really know what it means. I don't really know what he's talking about. He seems to kind of just talk about these things, but at least to a degree that I personally would consider adequate, doesn't seem to provide much more of an explanation into the fundamentals of these ideas and how they mesh together and to give some like formal ontology of the world. I just don't like he's got a lot of terms and he says a lot, but it doesn't seem to cohere well. There doesn't
Right.
seem to be much internal consistency to it. And recently, actually, it was probably about 2 months ago, I on Theories of Everything with Kurt Jaimungal, if I'm pronouncing that right.
Yep.
He was set to have a discussion with Tim Maudlin, who is, as most people at least should know, one of the world's leading philosophers of physics
And he raised
and philosophy of science as well. And Bernardo gave, sort of his, I guess you could call it something of an opening statement where he kind of presented his ideas briefly in the way that he looks at the world, and then Tim being Tim. If you know Tim Maudlin, you know Tim Maudlin. Now, I don't know him because I've never met him, but I know him in the sense that I've seen him everywhere on the internet. I've watched a lot of videos. Tim is not afraid to call, what the fuck is the phrase?
A spade, a spade.
Yeah, thank you. I was trying to mix it up with pot and black, and I wasn't getting the right one. Thank you, James. He's not afraid to call a spade, and he just said, it's like the first thing he said. He went, "Wow, well, I have to be honest. A lot of that, particularly with respect to what you said about physics, is, well, quite frankly, just rather silly." And after about 30 seconds, Bernardo interrupted and then had a meltdown and left because Tim
Rage
called his
quit.
ideas silly.
Yeah, we played that on a stream a while back before the Bernardo Kastrup part 1, 2, 3, 4.
It was
funny.
It's kind of funny.
Well,
That's
the
why I
thing
say he seems to have an axe to grind because the people that know these things say that he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Well,
So-
the funny thing is that Kastrup was the first one that could call physics silly and scientists silly, right?
Well,
And then
more
he,
physicalism. He says
Yeah.
it's just kind of like ridiculous and silly and
yeah, if you go through his papers and you search for physicalism, that's all he says about physicalism is, oh, it's been disproven, it's silly, it's just stupid, it's naive realism, it's blah blah blah. And then when it comes down to actually defending his position, he has a few weak points. One of them is NDEs. Another one is supernatural things that people see. What the fuck else does he have? It's just weak, very weak.
what I
Remi-
think is interesting is if his ideas truly were quite strong and he had good reasons for believing these things, he wouldn't be offended by somebody calling them silly. He would say, I heard you say that you think my ideas are silly. Well, I don't think they are. In fact, I think, this, that, and the other gives really good reason for why we should consider these ideas. But he didn't do that. He just freaked out and left. And I think that kind of speaks to the weakness of his ideas that, your ideas being called silly is not much of an insult. So to run away from something like that, it seems to me to imply that not only are his ideas rather weak, but that deep down he knows that they are.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't do much defending on that video, so I don't know.
Well, it reminds me of the Deepak incident where the physicist said, I'm a physicist and I know all the words that you're using, but not the way you're using them in a sentence.
Yeah, Leonard Mladenov. When Leonard Mladenov went to it was a panel of people talking, but Deepak Chopra was on the panel.
Yeah.
And so Leonard Mladenov went there and then was in the audience and wanted to ask a question and pretty much just called out Deepak right then and there. He's like, well, I am a theoretical physicist. I know some of the words that you're using, but I don't know what you mean when you use them.
Oh, that's slam dunk.
Which is funny. And then people yell at me when I tell people I don't know what they mean.
Yeah. So these comments by CJ, CD, 5CD are pretty goddamn good. Uh, but there's something missing in our understanding. I have no qualms with constructing worldviews from years of study. These are creative, useful fictions to navigate the world that have kernels of truth.
Pause. That first sentence, I have no. Okay, the second one. If he's talking about worldviews as being creative, useful fictions to navigate the world, I mean, I can definitely see where
Yep.
somebody, you know, kind of has that view. I don't know if I would accept that. I'd really have to think about it, but
Rhonda?
Oh
who's
shit, guys!
Rhonda?
That's your
I
brother.
I have to take this call. My wife is in a bit of a having a bit of a bad day. I'll be back.
All right.
Oh, so that's who Rhonda is. Okay, I see.
That's his important phone call.
Yeah, his
When you
ex-mother-in-law passed
when
away.
you step
So
back, claim your theory is. But when you step back, claim your theory is what consciousness is, then you're stepping into the realm of metaphysics. Yeah. Does not exist. I am described in the sense. That actually I do agree with right there. That there are many scientific geniuses who are excellent at modeling their perceptions, but who are very ignorant when it comes to understanding their own minds. There's a lot of people like that.
Sure.
That last sentence is a little confusing to me.
So where are you in the world of debating these days, Leo? Or have you got any scheduled for the future?
Not currently. Most of my debating is done on modern day debate, so it's not like I'm planning a lot of debates months in advance, but
Mhm.
I would if I were debating certain people on certain topics. But I think it was 3 weeks, maybe
You just
month
posted your
ago.
debates, didn't you?
Well, debates that I had like 3 months ago, yes.
The ones you had on at the event.
And I posted, well, the one that I had, my first one with Austin Whitsitt has premiered. I've got 2 more that are set to premiere, one tomorrow and that's my debate with Eric Hernandez, and then one on Saturday, which is my debate with Destiny. And I still have one more to post, and then my most recent modern day debate as well, which was on Flat Earth with Mark Reed. That was a little interesting. I'll tell you what, that Mormon Kyle guy, he's a bit of a character.
So there's a Mormon flat Earth guy.
Well, I only know the guy. Well, his name is Kyle. I can't remember what his last name is, but he had a debate with Aaron Raw, and he's also Mormon. And I'm pretty sure the name given in the title of the debate was Mormon Kyle. So I don't know if that's like maybe a moniker he goes by or what, but apparently he is also a flat earther. And he
They're
is a
interesting.
character.
Yeah, they are
He is
interesting.
definitely a character.
The mud fossilers are even more special.
Oh, yeah, I don't really know much about them 'cause I don't watch that guy because I can't.
Everything's a fossil. If you see something, it's a fossil. If it looks like something, it's chronic pareidolia. It's the mountains are old tree stumps. The trees used to be miles high.
Yep,
And,
because there was so much oxygen up there for them.
Well, here's the thing. He pictures a big satellite image of North America, and in North America he sees this big dragon because of it looks like a dragon, pareidolia, right? So, but he's imaging this beast that was alive, that's about 2/3 the size of our continent. Then he's talking about a fish that's about as big as one of the oceans. And it starts to be cartoonish, where you got the people standing on like the little tiny rock. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you have trees mile high, this giant dragon as big as a continent, a fish as big as a continent? Where do they all start fitting together? It's there's only so much room on the planet. I mean, it just, there's just no rules though when you're just way out.
You should highlight that last comment again, Scott.
And thanks to Maya, I will never look at caves the same way again. because according to mud fossilers, caves are all giants' female parts that are fossilized. So if you've ever been in a cave, it adds a whole new perspective. So thanks, Maya. I'll never look at caves the same way. Maya covers a lot of the mud fossil stuff on her bad
Mud
science.
Fossil sounds like the name of a really cool rock band.
I want a shirt that says MFU on it. I think that would be a great seller.
If I ever start a band, I'm
People
gonna call
could
Mud
take it all
Fossil.
different ways. You
I
know?
like it.
He doesn't have it patented. He can't do anything. It's not trademarked.
No, he's
And then
just got
turns
that
out he
little-
actually does have the name Mud Fossil trademarked.
He's got that little what do you call those things like you put on your desk with your name on it? The little placard thingy.
Nameplate?
Yeah, the little strip like that. Kind of looks wood grain. He's got that under his screen that says University. But Roger needs a bigger monitor. Somebody needs to get him a bigger monitor. He's had that little tiny monitor forever. It just drives me nuts.
Somebody needs to get him a new feather too. He needs a new feather to point.
And a new feather. That thing's got to be funky after all these years.
I don't even want to know.
If anybody doesn't know, he uses a feather as a pointer on his tiny monitor.
Yeah, this is the guy who like did a bunch of experiments with light and claims a bunch of dumb shit about photons, isn't it? I'm pretty sure it's the same guy.
Yeah, and he does the things like a lot of these other YouTubers where he doesn't understand that when you over focus something, you're not zooming in more. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like with the microscope or the telescope. When it's in focus, that's it. When you keep turning it and everything gets all distorted and silly looking, that's not actually how it's supposed to be. But that's what they think, that if you keep cranking it, it's zooming in more, and you're actually, all those little specks and blurs that show up are actually what is really there. Logic goes after a lot of these folks, and he offers help. He goes, look, I'll tell you how to use your equipment correctly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can't keep zooming. That's not how it works.
I gotta be honest. I don't really find. I'm not saying these people are bad people or that their content is shit, but I don't find a lot of entertainment, I guess, in like people like Logic. What's the other one that I'm thinking of? Fuck me standing. Oh my god, the guy that's got the static face. I can't.
POZ.
What?
Prophet of Zod.
POZ.
Yeah, Prophet of
POZ,
Zod. That's
Prophet of
another
Zod.
one. It's another one. I don't get like a lot of entertainment out of.
He's
those
been
kinds of things.
unstaticky lately. He's been his real self in his videos. A handsome fella, if I do say so, for a POZ. Very, very well groomed gentleman. He's got a righteous beard too.
Like I watch almost no other atheist content creators, if I'm being honest. At least not the big ones like Apologia, Prophet of Zod, Logic. I don't really watch their stuff.
I like Logic because it's chill, you know. You could just sit back and have a little chuckle, and at the same time he's very helpful, and he was reaching out to John Pendleton.
I don't know who that is.
Well, he was the creationist that was also a former mechanic, chemist, and mid-husband, and he always wore the white lab coat. But he was going to go hunt pterodactyls, and Logic was willing to give him money and everything if he could go along. But then John passed away. So
What is a
sadly,
mid-husband?
it,
Is it like
he
a
delivered-
midwife but for dudes?
yeah, I guess he
Oh.
delivered his wife's babies because
Well,
he has like 10
Delivering
kids or something.
your own children doesn't make you a midwife or mid-husband, I guess. Being
Well,
certified
John-
to do it does.
John wasn't the brightest, but he was lovable and he was always nice, and he was very entertaining, and we were really hoping he was going to catch a pterodactyl. Go John, right?
People been hunting Bigfoots for 100 years and nobody's fucking produced one.
And that's the thing. If you want to go out and hunt Bigfoots, go ahead. But yeah, don't have an attitude about it. If somebody says, "Hey, where's the Bigfoots?" Right?
Yeah. They're wily, those Bigfoot. Hard
You
to
hear
find.
stories of people being out in the woods and they've got their rifle on them and like they'll talk about how like maybe 60 feet away from them there was this like, why didn't you shoot it, dude? What the fuck? Show everybody.
They
else.
do.
Prove it.
They do shoot them, but then they
claim that
panic.
shoot them. They claim
Yeah, they
that
panic
shoot
that they're going to get in trouble, so they bury a 10-foot primate in the woods with a what do you call it, a little field shovel. And it's like, I'm sorry, but there's a video circulating out there about somebody digging a hole in their backyard, and it's like, I dug my ponds and everything, and digging a hole is a lot of work. Now,
Yeah,
you
it
want to bury a 10-foot primate in the woods?
With
Good
a
luck.
short camping shovel handle.
Yeah, the little camping. Yeah, you know the one for when you need, go
Oh,
to the
yeah.
bathroom or something. It's just that
Yeah.
little chopper, and yeah, you're gonna bury a 10-foot primate with that, and not just in a shallow grave that you can find again. No, it's lost to time. There's no way you could ever find it again. You didn't bother tying a string on a tree so you could find it again or anything. Nope. Yeah, I've heard all the stories. Trust me.
I saw
Bigfoot's
part of
Bigfoot
the
while I was
weekend.
out hunting, but you didn't shoot it.
And Bigfoots also get beamed up by spaceships. That's why there's no bodies. And Bigfoots are Neanderthals that are cannibalistic, and they eat the dead. That's why you don't find the bodies. They also transport here to Earth via orange orbs. So if you see an orange orb, that's a Bigfoot interdimensional travel capsule.
Oh, wow.
And don't get me started.
Imagine being in the woods and you're hunting, and all of a sudden you hear some cheeks clapping, and you turn around, and there's two Bigfoot just going at it.
I did I did an episode about people getting freaky with the Bigfoots.
Bigfoot porn. It's a thing. Yeah. I wonder if you could Google that. Bigfoot porn. Maybe I shouldn't.
Ape-shaped carbon makes a wonderful point. Atheist content has really dried up lately.
Yeah.
Nothing really much new to react to, I'm guessing. Hovind is tired. Ham is retiring. Nut jobs like G-Man and Batman are rare sightings these days. Yeah, this is true. And the reason that the atheist content is getting boring is because like people like Ken Ham and Kent Hovind and William Lane Craig are all they ever talk about. And this is why diversifying I think it's a good thing. Some of them should talk politics, like Aaron Rod does. Aaron Rod talk politics. He'll talk phylogeny. He'll do biology. He'll bring people on to talk about fields he doesn't know anything about, like physics and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's like
Reptiles.
he admits he doesn't know stuff about this. Like he's got diversity on his channel. I think that's why he's still, pretty relevant. But then there's other people that aren't as relevant, despite being roughly the same size. And I think that's because it's just dried up content.
I was feeling bad because of this dive into consciousness, philosophy of the mind, but maybe I shouldn't feel bad about that because it's
Who?
a different. It's something new, something different. So
Who's diving into that?
me,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I've been diving.
Yeah, and
into
that's
it.
why actually learning and studying philosophy, I think would be really good for atheists because it would give them a lot of different avenues to approach arguments for or against the existence of God. It would allow them to, have more content there because all these big atheists don't talk philosophy stuff. It's either creationism or it's biblical stuff, and that's about it.
Yep. Well, I had a phone call and that burnt me out. So content ends anyway here. We can just talk. So we had a death in the satellite family or the family, I guess. My kids
The extended family.
Scott said something about it.
The estranged family. She was very much estranged for 40 years. So, but the fact that she passed away, my kid's the last grandparent basically. So anyway, but shit happens. Should be happening. Oh my God. Oh shit. Anyway. So
That's what I stuck on the end of my new video. I almost got ready to put up. It's the Hitchens quote that says, "Don't allow stupidity to go unchecked, because there'll be plenty of time for silence in the grave."
True, but you also got to pick your battles.
So this last comment by CJ is important, and I'd kind of like to spend a little more time in it. And apparently CJ is still interacting with me. I think the reply was from 7 hours ago, and I hadn't looked at it yet. So I'm probably going to do a little more on that, and then I want to go through instinctive non-reactionary's comments, because he also. But the whole thing is this attack on realism, and what it is if you strawman realism to be realism with a capital R, then yeah, then yeah, we have to be a little bit humble about what we can know. But if you look at realism with a lowercase r, which means even if we're a brain in a vat, my fucking coffee cup is still in front of me, right? And that's realism with a lowercase r. And it requires a lot of unpacking. And their only argument against realism with
What
a
kind of
lowercase
realism are we
r
talking about?
is to
Like
strawman.
broad metaphysical realism, or like specifically like
No,
scientific realism, or
okay, one of the
moral
attacks,
realism?
one of the attacks on realism is that
But what I'm asking is, which kind of realism are we talking about? There's moral realism, there's scientific realism, there's broad metaphysical realism.
metaphysical
Okay.
realism.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just wasn't sure.
Yep. But the attack on it is basically that we can't go through. We think we can't go through a cement wall, but a neutrino can. So what? We are part of that realism, and the fact that we can't go through a cement wall is pretty much understood. We know why.
Wait, somebody said that because we can't go through walls, but neutrinos can, therefore realism is false?
Yeah. We are not a fucking neutrino. You are not a neutrino.
I swear, there are too many people who do not understand the concept of scale,
Yeah.
particularly as it applies not just in physics, but to the physical world.
Philosophy. Scale is very important. You're right on. It's always about scale.
And this is why I also think emergence is a very important concept, because I think both scale and emergence go together very closely.
Yep.
And I wanted to ask you, does the neutrino pass through because of its size, or because it isn't charged, or whatever? How does it pass through, Leo?
So technically, it's hard for me to say a neutrino passes through a wall, because for the neutrino there is no wall. It's just moving through some matter. And yeah, I mean, it's electrically neutral, but it's also just a very weakly interacting particle, very low mass, low energy particle, not electrically charged, not color charged. So it just doesn't interact with a lot, not really much at all. Now, naturally, neutrinos do interact. That's how we know they're there. That's how we can detect them. But their interactions are very few and even further in between. So that's sort of this idea of why a neutrino can go through a wall. I mean, it's a subatomic particle. We're not.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
The main reason that like solid matter can't pass through solid matter, like my hand hits the table, it doesn't go through the table, or the desk, I should say, is actually more a result of the electrostatic repulsion between the electron clouds of both of the material objects.
Right. Yeah.
And a little bit the Pauli exclusion principle, but that gets more important when you start reducing in scale.
So I was wondering if it had something to do with the charge, because even if it's small, it would still interact. But like you're saying, everything is so small that it doesn't react. So.
Oh, you're getting weak, Dave.
Sorry, I sat back.
Anyway, guys, I have to leave. Do you guys want to hang around?
I'm ready to call it quits too.
Okay, we'll shoot her in the head. I got some shit going on here. Okay.
I'm gonna double check my video, and if it's good to go, I'll be premiering a video.
Good.
You know me, I got lectures to watch, so.
Okay, guys, we're out of here.
All right, good seeing y'all.
Have a great day.
Come back to the world. And we're out.